Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to the I Got a Girl podcast. I'm so excited to be here with my new friend, Nancy, and I'll let her tell you all about herself. But I got to tell you, we met in a networking group, because we're both in business. But what I loved is that she's like, I'm starting this new podcast. So it actually inspired me because she started the process before I did. But it inspired me because I was a guest on hers, and she does live coaching with EFT tapping in front of you, live, personal, and I loved it because I got to just be in her magic and be in her power. So we'll tell you more about that later on, but I just wanted to first say thank you so much for coming, Nancy. It's so cool having you here after I've been on yours. I love that. And tell them about yourself, whatever you want to share.
Well, thank you, Jackie. It was so fun to have you on my podcast. What do I want to say? I've got this whole long backlog of stuff that I've done, and I don't even want to go there. What I do now is I work with women business owners to get rid of the stuff that's like under the surface. You don't know it's there. It's subconscious, but it's getting in the way of everything you want in your business, for making more money or getting more visible, getting more subscribers or whatever you
Mm-hmm.
have. And also just having greater ease, which really fits in with the, I got it, girl stuff. So
Right?
all the time. Yeah. So many of us have it. I was going to say so many of my clients have it, but it's me too. Come on. I know that.
Well, and I love that you said like you help clear the stuff. It's funny, sometimes I can't find the words. I'm like, that like gook and like the stuff that's stuck in there, and I love that you said that because everybody listening is like, yeah, I got stuff. I got stuff. Sometimes um we beat ourselves up for the stuff, and there's really no need for that because we all are human living this human experience, right? And that's why we have practitioners like you and amazing folks like you that help people clear that out and recognize, like, without awareness of it and without the ability to move that out, then we are going to get out of our head and take the action that we're meant to take. And that was the first thing I learned, I think, in the journey of coaching was I remember hiring a coach and I was like, teach me how to build a business, right? And I was like, woohoo, you have this, I want that. And I was crying for 9 months on my bed. And it was because I had so much stuff. She introduced me to EFT tapping, one of your specialty, and different things like, and I was like, 9 months later, I was like, girl, I haven't made any money, but I've been crying a whole lot. What's going on? And she's like, and I understood that I needed that. And I'm not saying you can't make money while you're doing it, guys. I'm not saying that, but I needed that to move through to be able to do exactly what you just said is receive more money, receive the money in the business, build the business, um, meet people, tell them what to do, all the things that we need for business. But if we don't do that clearing that you're talking about, it doesn't work.
Mhm.
So let me real quick say that, guys, as you know, you've probably heard, if you've heard any other episodes, this is your first episode of the I Got a Girl podcast. The I Got a Girl is the woman who has lived her life most likely from control, fear, and survival. We don't realize we're doing it for so long, but mine was created at the age of 7 when, after my mom passed at 5, dad was running a construction company, siblings were all older. So I had to learn right away, like, oh, if I want laundry, I have to learn how to use the machine. If I want to cook food, I need to learn how to cook or microwave or whatever I learned at the time. And I became this fiercely independent woman, and it came from control, survival, and fear. And then just in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've realized that I was missing out on a lot of stuff because I wouldn't let go of the control. I wouldn't let myself really align myself with what I was meant to be doing. I wouldn't allow love in. But when the Gotta Girl shifts and lets go of that control or that fear and that survival, she steps into thriving from a place of love, faith, trust, surrender, places like that. And the I Gotta Girl is amazing. So we don't lose her. We just enhance her and let go and let her live life fully. So when I say that to you, Nancy, it's funny when I read a little bit more about you when you were saying, I was like, she was a lawyer. Like, I always think like corporate America, and now she's doing this. And I got to tell you how many people blows their mind when they meet somebody who's gone from something like that to that. So what comes up for you when I say this?
Oh, so many things. Yeah, I mean, my journey, I went straight from college to Harvard Law School because what are you going to do
Right.
with an English major? So I did what I was supposed to do. And that was a way, I think, for me to control. Because,
Absolutely.
hey, the world's my oyster. I don't know what to do. Hey, I'll just do what I'm supposed to do. So I went
Yeah.
went to law school. I practiced law for 9 years. Hated it. Um, Seriously depressed.
You're
Went
not the
back
first
to
person I heard
school.
that from, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I went back to school because that's what that was my way of controlling. You're going to have a profession. Okay, I'll have another profession. I'll go be a therapist. So I went back to school, got my master's, and practiced therapy for, I don't know, what was it, over 17 years. And it was better, but it wasn't quite right. And so I finally started to let myself do more of what I feel like I'm here to do. As I started a little coaching practice on the side a couple years into my therapy practice. And it was great. I kept saying, okay, I'm going to grow the business so that I can leave the therapy practice. I wasn't making a whole lot as a therapist, but I couldn't make it with the business until I cleared away all these blocks. And I was learning to do it on myself as I was doing it with my clients and getting rid of the subconscious rules that said I couldn't have more money, I couldn't be successful, I couldn't be seen, all these things. And so you would think at that point where I finally built the business up to the point where I could leave the therapy and go full on with my business, I've arrived. I'm no longer I got it, girl. I get to do my own thing, except it was still running the show. I still deal with it at times. I have burned out multiple times. And Jackie, you know, as a business owner, there's always more you can do.
Yes.
There's always a to-do list a mile long. And I kept trying to do it all. and then I would collapse after a year or two of it, and it's just like, okay, I can't do it. And then I'd rev up again. And I think part of it was that I was hitting blocks I didn't know were there. And so I kept saying, I'll just work harder to get through them. Just work harder. It'll all work out. And it doesn't. I mean, there is time for hard work for sure, but that's not the answer to a rule that's playing under the surface that's sabotaging you or pulling your energy from something that's really where you're supposed to be going. So I've burned out multiple times. I don't even know how many times at this point. But every time I come back, I figure out a little bit more and I release a little bit more. And that's the most important thing for me. So
gosh.
Plus then I know it. So the next client who comes along who looks like that, I say, hey, let's check. Let's see if this is it. And then often it is.
So many nuggets in the first 5 minutes, guys. Okay. So she was talking about how a couple things I want to pinpoint. You were talking about when you went into, lots of burnout. Can everybody relate to that? Yes. And the burnout that we don't even realize we're getting into, right? Because we're trying to just control it and work harder and harder and harder. I love that you pointed out because that's happened multiple times in people's lives. But like the key that you pointed out was that with each time I learned something, okay, and then I got rid of that, like I cleared that. Okay, and people just think it's one and done. Like, I learned that thing. And I'm like, no, we are ever growing, like forever in a lifetime, right? But what I loved when you shared, like I was building the business and I had the therapy thing. I mean the you had your job and you had your business, right?
Yeah.
And when you're like, I think I'm there, this and that, but like a lot of people still won't let go of that because of the fear of what if this business doesn't work, it doesn't stay working. So then because there's so many things to unpack here. So I'd love for you to share each time you had these burnouts and you'd like learn something and then it would happen again, like you'd learn something. Did you judge yourself for getting back into the burnout? Like, how did I do this again to myself?
Never.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
How can I be doing this again? But it was
I learned that thing,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I learned, I don't know at which point I learned these different things, but I learned I could not work all weekend long. I couldn't work late into the evenings all the time. I couldn't just, I'll work during the day and then I'll learn in the evening. That was another trick I thought would work, and it didn't work. I've learned I have to set aside time just to be. And I still struggle with that one, but I do it more than I used to. But I'm it's funny how you can find ways around the fix. I'm not going to do that again. I'll just do it this way. So
yes,
I've burned out so many times.
My old coach called that new level, new devil.
Oh yeah.
Like right, absolutely. You've heard that before.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, or new, whatever it is, however you want to call it. But it's sneaky, like it sneaks around the back door and it's like, oh, well, so this just happened to me, like literally just happened to me. I was having a conversation with someone who was doing something And she was like, you need to stop working so hard. And I was like, working so hard? I'm not working nearly what I used to work. Like I mean, like my life is so free, right? But I listened to what she said, and I looked at like my stuff, and I went like my schedule and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like she's right. Like I've gotten myself back into a place where I feel like the more I'm sitting here at this little square video box, without taking time in between to go into nature and to be and to work off my nourishment list, which I've spoken about a couple times. A nourishment list is where do you go when you need to be and not just do, because we live in such a do have society.
Yeah.
And I know this, and I teach it and I coach it and I mentor it, right? And it was like it hit me again. So I love that you're bringing that up, because I literally just had, like just yesterday I was like, okay. And so actually it was 2 days ago, and I said, okay, universe, God, whatever you guys believe in, I was like, show me what I need to know about working less. I had 3 appointments moved to next week. I was like, and it's
Thanks to
all
the
like,
universe.
thank you, universe. And I had 3 hours to go for walking this morning and doing stuff. And then tomorrow morning I've got a freer morning. And I was like, and they're all apologizing. I was like, no, this is exactly what was supposed to happen. So okay, so now you have shifted from the jobs and the corporate America and the and I love that you admit too, like it still happens, guys. Like it's okay. But is your rebound time shorter
Oh,
with
yeah.
each time?
Yes.
And what tools and stuff do you do to help you have a shorter rebound?
Well, and I know where to look now. And
Mhm.
as it's coming on, it's like, gee, I wonder why I don't want to do anything, right? Well, I just want to sit and read or play solitaire or something like, what's going on? Oh, I wonder if it's burnout. So I recognize it more sooner. And I, there's a couple of things I'll do. First of all, it's like, okay, am I still taking my CEO week, which was something I had to do, which is it's work, but it's not with client time. So once a month, CEO week. Am I trying to work on the weekends? That's I pretty much extinguished. That one's not happening. Am I working late in the day? Yeah, sometimes, yeah. So I'm looking and seeing if are my boundaries in place. But I'm also looking at why am I doing it now? So
Mhm.
early days, it might have been a rule that says I have to work hard to be successful, or I'm
Mhm.
only valuable if I'm working hard. So I worked on those blocks, and I worked on with clients and all. And so I knew to work on that. But then it might be something that says, like most recently, I think with the podcast, it took me forever to get that thing up and running. And I think part of the burnout that went around that was I had a lot going on in my personal life too. Kid going off to college, all the things, and more stuff as well. I think what I was doing was having there be some significance around keeping everything going, even though honestly I should have just said, okay, put off the podcast, don't keep talking to it, don't think about it, don't keep working on it, set a time to start it later and
Mhm.
get the kid off to college, you know.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law moved, all those things. So yeah, so it was finding the subconscious blocks that are pushing those rules and fears that push me to burn out over and over again and release them, but also to find that sometimes hard work is not the answer. That one is
Yes.
maybe the one I'm working on the most.
Preach, girl, preach. That is a big one that I know that anybody listening has either gone through or still going through. So thank you for sharing that. And I love also when you shared that when you feel when we feel the resistance and the things seem to be hard, like, okay, the podcast, it was like hard. Like I just have like, because I felt like I had to get it done. I feel like I should be getting this out. Like I made these recordings. I've got to get it out. When there's honestly, guys, there's no rules to getting a podcast out or anything out. Like it's your business. Like you get to run your own rules. So there was we put this unneeded anxiety and pressure on ourselves. And what I find when I do that, what I'm trying to do is really hard and exhausting. But when I let myself, to your point, like just put it aside and don't take care of your kid going to college and then come back to it, and then it flows easier. It actually goes out easier, and it actually like executes easier, and then people sign up more or whatever the scenario is. when I feel exhausted, it means I'm pushing. When I feel tired, because I have pretty good energy from morning till night. Like I've been blessed with like my dad's genes, I guess. Like I wake up and I'm like, I don't need caffeine, and I'm pretty good energy till the minute I go to bed. And but when I am pushing on something and I'm trying to force something that's not aligned or not right in the moment, I get tired and I get exhausted, or I get like, I feel like I'm like, wow, yesterday it happened. Why am I? And I literally just went, cancel your calls for the rest of the day. And I canceled one, and I moved another. And then it's funny because then two people canceled, like it moved their things for me and stuff like that. Like I was like, universe is like, we hear you. Okay, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And so I know people are going to very much relate to what you just shared, because I always say, when you feel the resistance, is it because I'm scared or nervous, or is it because it's just not aligned right now? And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and I'm luckily this hasn't really come up for me much, but I've had so many clients who they've got a rule that says I can only rest if I'm sick. And the next thing you know, they're sick with the flu, or they broke their leg or whatever. And and
Not the things you want to manifest, people.
that's not the way you want to rest either. No. But yeah, it comes up a lot. And occasionally I would catch myself getting like, I'm starting to feel a little, oh, I know I'm feeling sick. It's because I'm needing a break. I need to rest, not just, oh, I'll just go for a hike because that's healthy. And it's like, no, I just need to rest. So
Yeah. Oh, that's so good that you brought that up, because for years before I went into this world, in the restaurant industry, like the last 2 years, I did a lot of travel for them, and I was go, 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 and I was gone 9 months of the year, and I was always traveling, planes, trains, different things, doing the restaurant openings. I was sick so much. And I used to never really get sick, but the last, I don't know, 2 to 5 years, let's say, I was always sick. I came into coaching, and it shifted like completely, because I wasn't in this like push, push, push mentality. And I was actually present more in my life as I was learning. And I was like, wait, and I learned the whole concept of what you just described, the being. Like I was, and don't get me wrong, over the years, like it took a little bit of time to get to the place where now I never get sick unless I do something really stupid, but that's besides the point. Um, and that concept of do have is what we're taught our whole life, and the filling and the being, I didn't understand it. Like did your clients like struggle with this, and like we do, where it's like, we
yes.
gotta, what does being mean?
Well,
Like,
and the weirdest thing is they might even have heard this, but we think, you do the work, you have the stuff, and then you get to be the person you want to be.
oh, and then you get to be after
Yeah.
you do and have. Yeah.
You got to follow it in that order. Except if you do it in that order, you'll never get what you
The
want.
being.
You'll be doing and doing and doing forever. You have to start with the be, and then you'll do the right
Yes.
things and do it the right way with the right energy, and then you'll have the stuff. And I still have to like hold myself back and say, wait a minute. What am I? What's my identity here? Am I being the person who is going to do the right things to have the things that I want, or am I just being the same old that I've always done? And so I see that in myself all the time, and in my clients too. It's just I think it's sort of our culture, but it's also especially for women. I mean, given that I work with women, I've seen this over and over again. We're raised with the rules of take care of everybody around you. I had one woman tell me that growing up, her mother taught her that no one at the table should ever have to ask for any food. She should be monitoring everyone's plate and passing them whatever food that she thought they might need. I mean, that's nuts, but that's what we're raised in. That's sort of an environment. So
Yeah, I
and
think
that's all of us, not just
my
the
mom.
oldest or the child of alcoholic parents who, they often will step into control and taking care and doing. There's all sorts of things, but this is just across the board. Women are brought up often in that you take care of everybody and you're responsible for everybody.
At the
So
expense of yourself.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. So I know that it's not new to the world to hear the whole self-care is selfless, not selfish.
Yeah.
But what you just explained hits home to so many. Like I remember being a kid now. My mom passed when I was 5, but I do remember her taking care of everybody. she was from an Italian background, Italian culture, and the women were very much in like had to be the ones like they would cook in one kitchen and serve in another and make it look perfect, in every scenario. We had two kitchens in every Italian household. It was classic. Yeah, it's a little secret. Don't if you ever go to an Italian house that serves you a big meal and you're like, wow, why is your kitchen so clean? There's one downstairs. So
No idea. That's fascinating.
it was, and I thought it was just my household. And then I went to two or three other friends' houses, Italian houses, and I was like, oh, this is common to have two kitchens. And then we'd have these big feasts at like holidays. And I'm like, how is their kitchen so clean? And then my one friend was like, come here, and I was like, oh, that's what mom did. Because mom, like, again, once mom passed, we didn't have a lot of like, we moved out of the house and we didn't have two kitchens and stuff like that. But we moved to a different house. But that always blew my mind. I'm like, they do all of it down there and then they bring it up. It's like a restaurant. Like, let me surprise you with this. But anyway, side note, but I always watched her like cater, cater, cater. And then my friends' moms cater, 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 fill the plate, boom, 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 boom. And they were always I remember saying, we eat last. We eat last. Everyone else is taken care of and we eat last. And I was like, huh. So hence why I always did the same for so many years. So it's crazy you bring that up. I didn't even think about that as one of my stories. And it really was a foundational story. And sometimes our stories come from past generations that we don't even realize that are in our world until they work with someone like you. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know that was a story. And I never, I didn't even create that. That came from my great grandmother who I barely met. So
Yeah.
do you come across that with people too, where it's
All the
like
time.
unknown stuff?
Oh, all the time. Usually, what somebody will bring me is the issue. I'm working too hard, or I'm not making enough money, or I'm not saving that I can make all the money in the world. I can't hold on to it, and they don't know why the thing is happening. The issue is happening. So, but I having worked with all these people and worked on myself a lot, I'm able to sort of pull out from what they say and from what I expect to hear, possible rules that are really running the show. And then I have a way for people to do that, figure out.
Well, walk me through that then too. Like walk them through, give me about 5 minutes or so of like, or whatever time frame it takes, of just like an example of a client came to you with one issue and then you walk them through the journey of what you do with them and tell us about that. And then the outcome.
Okay.
So because I'm fascinated when like, I know my own journey. I was fascinated to be like, oh, that's weird. Like I didn't even realize that could be a story.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say, and somebody comes to me and says, "I can't hold on to money. It's just actually we should stick with the working too hard. I'm working too hard. I can't keep myself from working on the weekends and working during my vacations. I can't turn the computer off at night. So I actually have 7 pages of a workbook with blocks that are around overworking. But I'll be listening to them, and I will say, well, here, try this. So I'll have a list of possible rules that might be at play. Say out loud, if I'm not working hard, I'm lazy. And they'll say it out loud, and they'll say, okay, between 0 and 100%, how powerful does that feel? So we're not looking at, is it true? Because it's not true. None of these is ever true. But how powerful does it hit you? And then they'll say, okay, well, it feels like 72%. It's like, okay, well, that one's playing. But there might be a bigger one. If I'm not working hard, I'm being disloyal to dad. And they'll say that, and I'd be like, whoa, that's 95%. So I'll have these different ones for them to try. And once we get the ones that are like high earners, they've got big numbers to them, then we start with the tapping. But I found if you dive right into the tapping, there's a place for that every now and then. But for the most part, if you find out what the rule is first and then you tap, you're going to release it so much faster than if you just, I'm working too hard. I'm just working too hard. I don't know why, but I'm working too hard. It's going to take a lot longer.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I think that second example with dad was mine and one of them I think it was one of the ones that we had. That's so funny you brought that up. Because mine was like dad always worked very hard and like and we couldn't keep the money. So I think you had 2 of mine over time. That's kind of funny. So can you explain tapping as well real quick for those who are listening and maybe have never heard? Because I know when I first was introduced, I was like, what what is this? Like, I
Want me
don't,
to
I'm
hit
like,
myself?
I'm
What?
like, why am I tapping my face? So
What's
yeah,
going on?
but I love it now, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, tapping is the type I use is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. And there's a lot of different ways to use it. So that's the umbrella term for it. But there's some other types of tapping that are done where you use a couple fingers and you tap on these different points on your body and your face. And I'm demonstrating them here for those who are watching the video. And these are points where it goes back to acupuncture and Chinese medicine 4,000 years ago, but these are points on your body where you can actually send a message to the amygdala, the mid part of your brain, of safety and calm, in effect. So if you've got a rule that says, if I'm not working hard, I'm being disloyal to dad, that kind of revs you up. I can't be disloyal. No, that's a fear sort of a reaction. Or control is to protect you from the fear. So when you're tapping and saying, I'll be disloyal to dad if I'm resting, if I'm not working hard, it'll be disloyal to dad. You're breaking the connection in your brain, in your subconscious, between being loyal to dad and working hard. And then it's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay to rest. It's okay to not work hard. I won't be disloyal to dad. Then that's when you can be consciously saying, dad doesn't want me to work that hard. Dad doesn't want me getting myself sick, by working too hard. That doesn't make sense. But you can do that without the tapping, and it won't break that connection. The tapping is the piece that allows you to access I call it the subconscious part. They don't know where the subconscious is. That's just something we talk about. The science isn't there to say, oh, it's here, here, here. I just read a book about this. Like, they're not doing that studies because it's too hard. So I'm not waiting for the science. I'm going with what works now. And what I've seen over and over again is that when you tap on these points, when you're addressing that rule, whatever it is in your subconscious, you're tapping, it allows you to break the connection. And
I love
then
that.
you can decide logically, rationally, well, what do I really want to do?
Yeah.
What do I want to live by? What are my real rules? But first, you got to clear out what's in the subconscious, because if you just go straight to it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do it that way anymore. Your subconscious is still saying, yeah, I don't care what you think.
Yeah, we run the show. Sorry.
Yeah, when you were 6, this is what it was, and it still is.
Yes.
So
I love that. I do, and the fact that I love that you explained how at first we got to find, like, you got to help them what's beneath the surface, like the surface statement of like, I work too hard and I want to stop working too hard. Yeah, okay, but what's the story beneath that? What's the rule that you're living by? And to help them find that, because I didn't understand that when I first started too. So, okay, so for those people who are just experiencing tapping or maybe haven't, like, a little bit, but you have a podcast that you're actually doing this on, correct?
Yeah.
I was on it. Sorry, I heard you mention that earlier.
Yes. You're one of my. Are you the first? You're
think I
close
was
to
the
the first. I
first.
think you were the
I think I
first
was.
guest I had. Yeah. So my podcast is actual tapping sessions with women business owners. So you brought an issue, and you get to see the audience gets to see, because it's on YouTube, because I want people to be able to tap along with us. It's also on Spotify and whatever, for those who want to do it audio only. But you can see as we go through an actual session where you told me the issue, and I wrote down a few possible blocks. I had you rate them, and then we went with one of the ones that was the one you said, I want to work on that one.
Yeah.
And then we
Okay,
tapped
excellent.
and released it. And so you can see the process in a sort of a microwave for just a single session, and a short one at that, because it's a podcast. It's not going to be a full hour.
Right.
And you see the process of uncovering what is underneath the issue, what's in the subconscious, tapping and releasing part, if not all of it, and then seeing how it feels differently. Now, we don't get in that situation. You don't get to see you go out in the world and act differently. And it's gone. I know it's gone because I'm doing different things in the world. And that's the piece that I'm actually addressing now, because I have a couple weeks ago, I started with a new series of tapping episodes with one client. And so we start with her telling her story, where she is. She was going through bankruptcy. She was really struggling. And she's just like, this has got to change. And we rate a bunch of blocks, and then we get going. And session after session after session, we knock off all the different things that have been holding her back. And by
I
the
just got
end,
goosebumps.
she's saying, "I'm living the entrepreneur's dream." It was wonderful.
And this is all on your podcast, like the
It's
whole
on my
journey of
podcast.
hers.
Yes.
That's so
So
good. That's brilliant that you took one person so people could see the progression
yeah,
through what the work you do. Oh, that's so good. I got goosebumps. Okay. So speaking of the work that you do, if people want to stay in your world and experience more, we understand we got the podcast, but what else?
absolutely. Well, the podcast is the easiest way to just every week get a little dose of it. And you can do that at my website, unblockresults.com/podcast. And that'll get you to EFT Breakthroughs. And you can sample as many of those episodes as you want. But I also think sometimes people want to actually do some tapping on their own, right?
Yes.
So I have a procrastination breakthrough kit,
Awesome.
which has a couple of videos, and they can tap along with to when you want to be taking action and for some reason you're holding yourself back. Now that's not going to get at what's the underlying cause of it, but sometimes tapping also actually lowers your cortisol levels, lowers your stress, and it can allow you to take action. So that anyone listening can get that by going to unblockresults.com/results. And that's where
awesome. And we are going to put that in the show notes too.
Okay.
So we'll make sure everything that she shares here, we'll put down there so it's easy and clickable, linkable, or whatever they call it. And that's awesome. So if there was one thing that you, from everything we talked about, that you would love for them to just like make sure they walk away with out of everything we shared, or something that you just know, what would you think they need to know and walk away with?
For your audience, Jackie, I would say realize that you don't have to be stuck being the I got it girl.
Yes.
You're not like destined to do that forever. It's not part of your personality makeup or anything. There's something in your subconscious, something probably from when you were very young, that's in there, that's pushing you now. But you can get rid of it. You can change it. And then if you want to work hard, sure, go ahead, but you don't have to do it all the time, and you don't have to be in control of everything. But just remember that is something that you can shift.
Yes, I love that. I love that because there are parts of the I Got It Girl that serve us so well still today. Like I love the woman that went through what she went through, how she went through it, how she moved through it, how she grew, and everything. And there's things I always like to visualize a little, like put in your suitcase what you want to bring forward with you and leave the rest, like you don't have to put it in your little suitcase to go forward. And there are behaviors and action taking and orientation stuff that like that woman, we don't lose her. And we get to, like you said, shift. We don't have to be in this, like, I got to do everything mentality all the time. And like, I can't accept help. I have to get it done myself or whatever, because Nancy can walk you through and help you release those old stories, old rules that you go by, so that you can have a more peaceful, less chaotic. Like I'm all about more peace, less chaos, more freedom, less control, like more, and, and life's still going to be lifing. But here's the cool part. After you do the work that Nancy's talking about, there's this ability to live life peace amongst the chaos. Like stuff's still going to happen in life, right? But we come across it way more peacefully. Like we experience it with the duality, like we can learn from it. We can actually go through both of it and experience joy and pain at the same time, because we've rewritten the rules, or we've shifted out what doesn't serve them. So good. Any final words? I know I just kind of went off on a tangent.
No, I think that's basically it. If I could get that message out to the whole wide world, that
Yes.
if you feel like you're failing at something, or you're lazy, or you're overworking and you can't stop it, it's not a personality problem, flaw, or a personal failing. It really is something that you can change, and it doesn't take willpower and pushing. It takes just figuring out where it's coming from and then finding a way to release it. For me, that's
Yes. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. And I love doing podcast swaps. This was so beyond valuable. And I know that if people, just this one episode will change people's lives. So thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate having you here.
Thank you for having me, Jackie.
All right, guys. So if you're listening right now, I want you to click the subscribe, follow wherever you're, I don't know, because some like YouTube subscribe and podcasts are follow, but do that and then share with someone you think that could listen to this and know that it could shift something for them if you find it valuable. And once again, I appreciate you guys being here. Love you guys for being so loyal, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.